Your income is your biggest wealth building tool, but what stands in the way of continuing to build that wealth? Debt, budgeting, spending. Today we talk with certified financial planning professional Tim Stearns, CFP, about how you can use your income and the tools that we have available for saving and investment to help build your wealth and retire with confidence. We always appreciate the time here on the program. Tim, he is founder of TJ Stearns Inc., Chicagoland's resource for a common sense approach to planning. Tim Stearns, CFP, providing proactive guidance. Tim, income really is the foundation. It's the root of our financial progress.
Well, there's many articles that talk about it's really, not about accumulation or what you have. It's about income, right? What your portfolio will throw off as income. And if it doesn't throw off income, what are you going to live on? So it's about paying your bills. And, with having an income allocation plan, that's kind of what we do with people is show them you're going to take money from here and you're going to apply it towards what you need to pay for monthly. It sounds simple, but it's a barrier to many people retiring. They don't understand where the next paycheck per se is going to come. And that's what we try to help them get to.
Well, having financial confidence is often about the control that we have over our money and assets. It's a little bit of a two-way street. Some people feel like they have a large amount of control, and others at times can feel controlled by our money. So we will talk about spending and income and budgeting and debt and these higher interest rates. What do they mean for you as a saver, as an investor? Are there tools that we could be taking advantage of? And if you've got questions, you are always welcome to call Tim Stearns, CFP. In fact, he does offer listeners to this program the opportunity for a complimentary financial investment retirement review, a planning strategy session, and a written protect and grow income plan. If you would like to get that in your hands, pick up the phone and give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256. And Tim, you are also the author of a book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. One of the main topics in that book is income, what to do with that income while we are working, while we are investing, while we are accumulating, and then how to create the income that we'll need once we stop receiving the paycheck.
Well, it's not as easy as flipping a switch, right? To get people to just realize, oh, I can just take money from my IRA, my Roth, my savings, and start paying my bills. People go from being savers to spenders, and I think that emotionally and mentally is trying on them. I know for my parents that would have been, so the reason that we do an income allocation plan is say, hey, slow down. It's okay. We're going to get through this. This is how we're going to pay these bills. Meanwhile, you have dreams to do this, that, and the other thing in your retirement. We can accomplish that too. So we map out an income allocation plan to map out their 30 years or better retirement.
Well, again, it's about having that financial confidence, ladies and gentlemen. We'll dive in, but the apex, the pinnacle of financial confidence is having a plan in place. And that's exactly what Tim Stearns allows you the opportunity to get put together, along with the help of a team of experienced, qualified professionals and a certified financial planning professional with Tim Stearns at the helm there at TJ Stearns Inc. You can have your Protect and Grow written retirement income plan. All you need to do to get that process started is give a call, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. And for the first 10 callers to today's program, a copy of that book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. If you've got at least $500,000 or more saved for your financial future, for retirement, then give a call and request a copy of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. Tim Stearns will get a copy of that in your hands. Again, 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. The confidence that comes with having a steady, consistent paycheck during our working career, Tim, I know that, not everybody has the paycheck that they desire, that we always could have more, but it really is a stepping stone of financial confidence, a foundational piece to know that this week, next month, whatever the pay cycle is, I'll have another paycheck there at the end of that period of time, something that we don't necessarily have in the same fashion in retirement.
Well, I'll give you an example of someone who does have that. We have a postal worker that's a client. And one of the things she said, you know what, Tim, the best thing about my pension is I can spend all of my money and the next month they'll give me more. Well, most of us out there won't know what that's like. So how do we do that? Well, we can solve it in many different ways. We have some funds that are dividend paying funds that people can live on. We also have annuities with interest rates being as high as they are right now. In my career, I've never seen a better opportunity to buy annuities. That's what we're seeing a lot of people are wanting. The participation rates, the amount of money that they can get from the insurance company are the highest I've ever seen. So give us a call if you'd like to look into that to help, create a paycheck that is, stable, consistent, and it will be coming in every month.
Tim, in certain circumstances, even if we have older annuities, we may be able to improve the kind of growth that we are able to capture or the income that's being generated from them, correct?
That is correct. We are revisiting a lot of the different annuities. Usually, if they're over 10 years old, there's something to look at. People were buying we're buying annuities when interest rates were so low, that we've revised them and put them into newer ones that are paying out better rates. They are locking in better income rates across the board, and it's been outstanding for them. And the clients want to, who doesn't want to make more money in retirement?
Yep. Well, Tim, when it comes to our money, when it comes to our income, it comes to our paycheck, what do we do for it, right? Is essentially we trade our time, we trade our effort, we put in our sweat equity to earn that paycheck. And at some point in time, we look forward to the day where we no longer have to make that arrangement. But in order to do it, we've got to make our money work hard for us as well. We've got to be disciplined to put some of it aside, to do without a little bit of it, pay ourselves and send it to ourselves in the future in those retirement accounts. And then we can hopefully one day retire with confidence based off of a lump sum. But it's not the lump sum that gives us the confidence. It's the income that lump sum can generate for us. And that's what you're talking about with these interest rates, with these income payout rates that are now being offered that are the best that you've seen in your career.
It's really life-changing for some of these people. The incomes are we can buy annuities right now that, 5 years ago, I didn't fathom that these rates would be paying out that well. So one of the reasons that we're revisiting with people, is because we want to get them a better payout. But many people have aversions to annuities. They've heard so many different things. I would say attend one of our classes, give us a call. We'll educate you and show you exactly, a lot of times what I do is I'll show the clients, I have an annuity and this is what I got 4 years ago, and look at what you can get today. And, if I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, as they say, I should be doing it with my clients, right? So that's where I stand on that. And then we show people that, whatever we're touting or telling people, that giving them solutions to retirement, we're doing the same.
Well, wouldn't you want that with a planner, somebody who's following the advice that they are giving you, the very recommendations that they are providing for your financial benefit and well-being, that they are also following the same steps and enacting the same strategies? And Tim Stearns stands behind the recommendations that he gives clients. And certainly it is something for you to look into, ladies and gentlemen, to create that income, that lasting, sustainable, lifetime, guaranteed contractual income into and throughout retirement, so that you can have more financial confidence that the lump sum there is producing the cash flow that you need month in, month out, year over year throughout the decades of retirement for you to live the lifestyle that you are comfortable and confident living. And at the other side of that, Tim, is the income comes in on one side and then we have expenses on the other. And I think a lot of people worry that they may be spending too much, or in some cases, maybe not doing the things that they could do out of fear of spending too much. It's sort of a tightrope act to balance, right? Are we doing and living life to the fullest, doing everything that we can, versus are we doing too much or maybe spending too much and risking future financial security? But having a budget, and you've often called it a spending plan, is essential for our working career, to know that we're saving and doing what we need to. And especially as we make that transition into retirement, understanding our expenses and aiming for the right target.
Well, a lot of people have an idea of what they can spend and what they can't spend. By having an income allocation plan, it literally spells it out, or I'll even use the words dumb it down, to show you this is how we're getting it done. You're going to have a growth bucket. We're going to put different vehicles in there that have stop losses. They're going to have allocations in there that we can make sure that they're being reallocated, to find, better areas to invest. But then for the stability is we're either going to use a dividend paying fund, which, we have a great fund that, the dividend companies within there pay 25 years of dividends straight they've paid. It's all household names, but people really seem to like that as well. It's averaged really well for clients, and then they're not eating into their principal. A lot of people like that. The other one they like, are annuities. And right now, like we've said over and over on this show, it's a great time to be putting money into an annuity if you're looking for that stability in the payout.
Tim, do you find that for those that do worry about maybe overspending or am I spending too much, that if they do have a budgeting session, if they do kind of sit down and look at the numbers once a month, that they can concentrate all that worry, not worry day to day and throughout every purchase that they make, but just simply kind of follow the outline of the plan that they've set for themselves?
I find that they're not really sure on those plans. If the market goes down, a lot of these people, the baby boomers that I'm seeing come in here, and they're really heavy into stocks. And all it's going to take is a big correction to change their trajectory of retirement. And you want to make sure that, you're not subject to all that market risk. At this stage of the game, we tell people in our classes, please don't invest like you're 40. You're not. And what you have at the end of the day, if you don't have a pension, is all you have for retirement. And you are a net seller of assets. So how are you going to get through a 30+ year retirement? By having a plan that's mapped out so you and your spouse understand it and you get to the finish line.
And if you'd like that plan in writing, that is what the Protect and Grow Written Retirement Income Plan and Planning Review and Strategy Session are all about. If you would like to take advantage of that opportunity, no cost, no obligation, just a time to sit down with a certified financial planning professional, Tim Stern, CFP, and look over your numbers, your plan, your investments and retirement accounts, and make sure everything is in alignment to help you maintain your comfort and confidence and standard of living into and throughout retirement. A true written plan with the help and assistance of a certified financial planning professional. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Tim, there are certainly those among us who are lucky or hardworking or blessed enough, whatever you want to call it, to be earning a very comfortable income and maybe don't have to pinch every penny, don't stress about the budget, don't have to stretch every dollar. But for those same individuals, for that description, generally the income that they are used to living on while they have a paycheck is substantially higher, and therefore the swing in income when they move into retirement is also that much more substantial, which does mean that perhaps looking at a spending plan and budgeting makes sense for their financial confidence as well, maybe more so than others even.
I think you're looking at people that have so much anxiety and angst about these markets. They're not going to go up forever, and so people are worried. That they don't show it on the surface, maybe, but they're like the proverbial duck that looks all calm going across the water, but it's paddling like heck underneath the surface. And I think that that's important that people understand. By having a plan with some stop losses in there, you can preserve what you have and make sure that they're throwing off a nice income.
Tim, there's kind of a couple schools of thought on debt as well. On one hand, you've got some well-known financial gurus that promote having a zero credit score. At the same time, those same individuals may be able to plop down enough cash to buy a hotel if they needed a hotel room for the night, right? They don't really need a credit score at that point in time. While on the other hand, there are well-known financial talking heads, spokespeople, authors that promote the idea of leveraging debt, using other people's money to get rich. Now, debt generally has some kind of cost attached to it. So, number one, where do you fall on that spectrum of no debt ever versus leveraging debt? And then two, how does this change in interest rates impact those that may have debt or be using debt?
Well, if many people have come in here with, these 4 years ago, they locked in a mortgage under 3%. I mean, it's hard to argue that. I would never pay that thing off. I would let that ride because you're never going to see that rate again, and you can make more money even in a fixed uh, uh, indexed annuity right now or a CD. So I would not pay that off. But having some debt in retirement isn't the worst idea, especially if you need to eat. And if you want to have a life. So I mean, hurry. I see these people that are hurrying to pay down their mortgages. I think that's great to live debt free in retirement, but it also knows that you know if you have the opportunity to put the money in the markets into some good vehicles, it makes sense to see if you can make more money than what your mortgage is costing you.
It's not just the amount of debt, the outstanding balance, though, either, Tim, right? It's the cash flow that payment eats up. If we can eliminate payments from our retirement trajectory, that's more cash flow for us to live and spend and utilize for our wants, needs, and desires.
Right. I mean, if you're close on your mortgage and you want to get it down, I get that for peace of mind. I've seen that a lot. My father did that. So I understand that, but I also see opportunities. If you're lower than 3%, I don't think you should be paying those off. But if you're in the modern day where it's 7% or so, I would definitely, look at the fact that hopefully interest rates are going to fall for you and you can refinance and start paying better chunks down.
It is tricky. On one hand, credit needs to be properly managed, or it can easily work against our financial success. Bottom
Well,
line.
I agree. We talk about that in our class. So, if you have credit card debt right now, many that say, soothsayers say that you should have good credit and bad credit. Bad credit are the credit cards that are charging you 20%. Definitely pay those down. But, a mortgage payment, where are you going to move right now in Chicagoland area? When I see people going, I'm going to sell and I'm going to wait till these things calm down and I'll just rent a place. The mortgage is about what they're paying for, rent. So things to think about.
Yep, and no guarantee that things are going to cool down. We don't know when that happens. And in the real estate world, prices have generally appreciated historically far more often than we have seen prices decline. And those are
Absolutely.
sort of just blips on the radar. Trying to time that out and know the future, inherently difficult, I think. But Tim, lots of us do have debt. I mean, debt is basically at this point in time just part of life, and even death. Actually, just kind of an interesting aside, I always find it fascinating. The root of the word mortgage, right, is mort, like mortuary or mortician. It literally means paying until death.
Right.
So we don't want those credit cards to stick around with us that long. We want to try to knock out that debt much quicker. In fact, I heard an even more interesting story about the root of the kind of colloquial saying "he bought the farm."
Yeah.
Was because farmers used to have mortgages that were basically they couldn't pay them off, so they'd buy life insurance, and when they passed away, the
Yeah.
life insurance would help the family buy the farm, and
Right.
hence the saying "he bought the farm." But all that aside, when we assume debt, we have to understand that there is an additional level of risk there, because debt basically assumes that everything's going to go right and that we're going to be able to make those payments. So trying to eliminate that probably is a good financial goal.
I do think that in retirement, I think it also gives people peace of mind. But a lot of people come in here, they have a decent sized mortgage and they need to figure out how they're going to get through retirement. And they're going to have to probably keep that. So we show people how to do that, and then meanwhile show them a growth account that hopefully we stay above where they're paying on that debt.
And on the opposite side of that, Tim, may not realize it quite on surface level, but a lot of us are on the other side of debt, where we are actually lenders and loaners. When, in fact, when we make a deposit to a bank and they show our balance there on our monthly statement, that is a loan essentially that we've made to the bank, right? And they pay us an interest rate for the use of our money while we loan it to them.
Right. And that's another reason I think why not you be the bank and actually go into the market and do great things with that instead of paying down your mortgage. That's sometimes an idea too. I think at the end of the day, People should give us a call and we work through these problems and figure out what the best course is for them. For my father, it was pay down that mortgage and be done with it. Right. But my mom to this minute will say to you, we should have taken the money and invested in the market because the interest rates were lower back then. So these are different things, different, everything's different for everybody, right? No, there's not one size fits all. So when we talk to people, we don't do cookie cutter here. We make sure that we're going through each piece of their puzzle.
And bonds are loans as well, right?
Yep.
These are corporates, corporations, municipalities, entities, organizations that need to raise capital. So they say, hey, we'll borrow money from investors and pay them a certain interest rate. So a lot of the American economy, a lot of income portfolios are built on the idea of debt, whether we're borrowing it for the credit cards or the vehicles or the house or the purchases, or we are loaning it out in some form or fashion. The interest rate environment truly has impacted us. And on those two sides, Tim, these higher interest rates right now, if we are that latter side, if we are a saver, if we are an investor, if we are looking for income, it is a vital time for us to reconsider what we are doing with our money.
Right. And I think, every year at least you should be reviewing where your money's at and reallocating. Most of the portfolios we see coming in here, they are stagnant. Theirs hasn't been worked on them, but I'll tell you what, there has been fees taken and they're not getting anything for any bang for your buck. So ask yourself, in the last 3 years, many of the portfolios I'm seeing are flat. They're fat to midland. They're not doing anything. And these people, as we pushed down those memories of 2022, yet it locked out most of the gains that you had in 2021. So where are you today? And we kid around in our class, what's in your wallet? What's in your portfolio? And have you done better or worse than the average Joe?
Tim, what is your thought and perspective on locking in money for an extended period of time? I know on one hand, people get nervous about anything that's locked in for kind of an extended period of time. But on the other hand, we expect that the trend in interest rates reverses and they begin falling. So wouldn't we also theoretically be locking in higher interest rates as well, which may be a benefit?
Right. And then the one I would talk about the most is the annuities. Right now, to lock in those gains that you can have by having higher interest rates. I'll say it again. I've been in this industry for 30 years. I've never seen rates this high. And I think it's a great opportunity for that. Do I think you should put all of your money into there? Of course not. But if it is something that you can lock in that will pay off a better income than what I bought 4 years ago, it's definitely something to look at, and just to see if it makes sense.
Well, Tim, while we are talking about income and spending and debt, can't ignore the national debt either. It's a pretty scary experience to go to usdebtclock.org where you see that national debt number just clicking away. Seems like trillions of dollars a year increase, and those numbers move very fast. How does the national debt play into the planning for savers and investors and individuals?
Well, I think it tells you something right away that you're going to be seeing higher taxes. And the biggest, fallacy that I've seen is, well, don't worry, you'll be in a lower tax bracket. How are they going to pay for that? I think that they'll have to raise taxes, and with that comes, federal estate tax, which sunsets or expires at the end of 2025. And at that point, it'll be at 5 million. What I think they'll do is lower that so they can get more of us in that trap of federal estate taxes. And then, of course, with income tax, who knows? But I know for a fact that if they don't do anything in the next year and a half, let's say, that income taxes will go up back to where they used to be. And with that comes higher taxes and we're paying more. So why not look at things like Roth conversions, putting money elsewhere that, do the maximum in your 401k that they're giving you the match on. After that, I look at other vehicles that are more tax efficient.
So, Tim, it sounds like you believe that the national debt does play into our investment and savings strategies. And we've talked often on this program about when we save money, we sort of have some choices and options for one of three buckets or classifications where to put our money. There's just regular investment money. We put that away and we pay taxes on the growth. And then we've got the tax deferred bucket and the tax free bucket with the Roth. Sounds like you are maybe cautioning people about the potential ramifications with that tax deferred bucket, one that is so often used for saving and investing for retirement.
You're listening to the show and you're wondering, what is your number one asset besides your house? It's your 401k. That's your largest asset. And here's the bad news on it. 95% of us haven't had taxes pulled out of that thing yet. So we do all the tax, man. That's one of the reasons that we offer our tax report. What does that do for you? It tells you exactly what you're going to owe in taxes. If I saw someone on the street and I said, hey, how much do you have for retirement? They can tell you probably within $100,000 of what they have. But if I ask them what their tax bill is, they have no clue. And wouldn't you want to know what it's going to cost? When my sons went away to college, I knew exactly what each one was going to cost. You're going to want to know what buying the farm, what is the taxes on something like that? It's literally buying a farm, the amount of money that we're going to be spending. So why wouldn't I take advantage of Roth conversions now and next year to see what I can get? I know what tax rates are now. It makes sense to do it now.
Well, there are tools, there are calculators available to help you know and better understand what that tax bill on your retirement accounts will be. If you'd like to take a look at yours, go to mvpcfp.com. That's where the online retirement tax bill calculator is located. mvpcfp.com. mvpcfp.com. You can go and put in your numbers, your information, crunch the numbers. You will get a report right back showing you what your potential tax bill is likely to be if you continue to defer and default versus what you could manage it for if you choose to be proactive. And the difference is staggering. It is impactful seeing those numbers side by side and encouraging you strongly to be proactive. Go and visit mvpcfp.com. MVPCFP for your retirement tax bill calculator report. And Tim Stearns, as always, there to guide you if you would like to take some proactive steps. And if you would like that complimentary review, that retirement planning strategy session, pick up the phone now, give a call, 800-640-2256, 800-640-2256 for the first 10 callers to today's program. Also included additional will be a copy of Tim Stearns' book, Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle. If you've got at least $500,000 saved for retirement, pick up the phone and give a call now to get a copy of Solving the Modern Retirement Riddle, the book in your hands by Tim Stearns, CFP. 800-640-2256. That's 800-640-2256. Or just make a note for yourself. Go and check out mvpcfp.com for your retirement tax bill calculator. Tim, you always bring important information here to the airwaves, a little bit of back to the basics, but with big implications on today's program as we talked about income, spending, and budgeting. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter.
Tune into Chicagoland certified financial planner Tim Stearns' full radio program and visit tjstearns.com for many valuable resources, including other great episodes of Chicagoland Retirement. Be sure to subscribe.
Investment advisory services offered through Cornerstone Securities, LLC. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature, not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs.